Has your missus ever farted on you in the night?
On me?
Yeah.
Up against me, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, on me.
All right, so I'm not on my own.
Oh, is that a new thing?
Maybe. Hey! Hello, and welcome to the Midlife Gamer Podcast. Today is Sunday, the 2nd of August 2020, and I'm here, sat in the same room, socially distancing, of course, with the gorgeous Mr. Matthew Moore. It's great to be here again, Matt, I've got to say.
Always a pleasure to have you here,
yes,
fella.
Yes, the sun is out, we're staying indoors, or we're allowed to do certain things now, but maybe we'll talk about that a little later. It's relatively clear. Hands, face, space is the current jam, I understand, so let's kick back, relax, give me your hands and your face, and I'll make the space for episode 296 of the Midlife Gamer Podcast. Matthew?
Darren.
Matthew.
Lovely to see you, fella. Thank you again for making the pilgrimage.
It's an absolute fucking pleasure.
And the road's still a little quieter than usual?
They're kind of getting back to normal now, but I'm enjoying I'm enjoying the newfound freedom that is afforded us without taking the piss, which is clearly what most people do, but there's always the outliers, isn't there? So we're not naming any names, but Leicester.
Oh, Leicester.
Oh, Leicester.
Oh, dear. Oh, honestly.
Oh, naughty boys and girls in Leicester. But it's very clear that, to me, and again, this is just my personal opinion, that the government clearly needed to reignite the economy and get things rolling again, and they're trying to stride a very fine line between too much exposure to the virus and not putting enough money in the coffers. So we're in a space now where things are all over the fucking shop. Certain things you can do generally involves you spending money. And anything else, no, you're not allowed.
Yeah, they were supposed to have some sporting events on, I think, this weekend.
Yeah.
And I know something snooker, something racehorses.
Yeah.
Which are now happening with no one there, I guess.
No.
I mean, I'm not a football person, but I saw that a team won a trophy. And then it was all the fireworks and the palaver and the loveliness in an empty stadium.
Yeah, up the Arsenal. As I understand it said. Yes, the Arsenal football team did more goals. They did more goals than the other team. I don't know who the other team are, but well done to the Arsenal for kicking the ball into the net more than the other team.
I mean,
congratulations.
It's our job. I mean, it's a good job they get paid well.
Well, they do, don't they? And good for them, because they work very hard for their money, far harder than you and I, my friend.
Well, without a doubt.
So,
there's not a lot I can do for 90 minutes, to be fair.
No, unless you take a pill.
Ooh, I've not had one of them pills for a long time.
Anyway, my friend, what have we been up to within the limitations of what the government allows us?
Oh, I've been to a pub twice, 2 different establishments.
What was that like, going back into a pub compared to pre-event?
Yeah. Well, the first one was a little bit peculiar. It was you had to give your telephone. I thought I was getting hit on. Can I have your number, sir? Ooh, sir. Of course you can have my number. Tree could drop my Twitter account and all. No, this is just so if we do have some kind of an explosion of cases, we will call you and say SARS.
So have you heard from Colin at all?
That was all right. It was all right. Yeah, you sort of go through a one-way system, get your drinks, sit outside in the car park. It wasn't great. No. It wasn't great. But hey, trying to do normal things. But it's been, I mean, still, we were built for this. I've been built for this for years. It's not a lot has changed in my life. No.
Are you saying what, you as the type of person you are, or you as a gamer?
Well, a bit of both, I suppose. Maybe they go hand in hand. But no, still working hard, still working from home, still no anticipation of going anywhere anytime soon. We're doing things at a pace that's potentially risky.
Yeah.
But we have to do what we have to do. I mean, little things like, when they were like, sense of taste and smell is now going to be a trigger. So I think we found out about that a day before the rest of the world did. And then we had to act on that to make sure that when you do call 111, and if you start to mention words like "I can't taste anything," that it routes you down a certain avenue. And we used to do these changes like twice a year. I think we've done about 8 of them since February.
Yeah.
So all hands on deck. Everyone's working hard as usual.
Well, continued thanks for the stuff that you do, mate, contributing to the greater good.
When you were saying about, you said your sister works in a shop.
Yeah.
They're the people who need more recognition, I think, than they get, because these people haven't bleeding stopped. I mean, I'm glad that when I do go into shops now, it's nice to see that the panic buying obviously wasn't sustainable. So people aren't going crazy anymore. You can now buy flour. It's not like trying to buy self-raising flour from a dodgy fellow on the corner with a big Macintosh on.
When you used to worry about having your Coke cut with flour. Now you worry more about having your flour cut with Coke. Oh no, it's too expensive to sell neat,
Yeah, I've not been to any restaurants yet. No, nothing like that. Yourself, have you been to any establishments?
I have. I embarked on a grand tour of the north. Now, this is something that me and the good lady had been talking about for a while, because she'd never been to Scotland. I think the furthest north she'd ever been on the east side was Blackpool, and on the west side was Blackpool. On the east coast, probably Durham was the furthest north she'd ever been. So I've always banged on about what a fabulous time we had in Scotland when we went up for the home invasion, and I always had it in mind that I wanted to go back there and see more of that beautiful, beautiful country. So as soon as we got wind that Scotland were relaxing their measures, I just went ahead and I booked. I went on to Premier Inn and I just booked a load of hotel rooms for fuck all.
I bet they were cheap.
They were cheap. They were cheap, and I think all in with all of 8 nights I was away for the two of us, cost just over £300.
That's pretty good
for 8 nights. I'm happy with that. Obviously, you've got additional costs on top, like your fuel and your meals, etc. But I think it was well worth it, and I got to see some wonderful people who I've come to know and love through Midlife Gamer, and it got me thinking about the people that all the friendships that have been built up because of you and me being dicks and starting doing a podcast with knob gags riddled throughout it. And here we are, 12 years on, still doing the knob gags. No weddings yet born out of what we've done. No.
Maybe a few arguments and a bit of pony feeding.
There's been weddings. There've been plenty of weddings by people within the community, but no community members have met and wed yet. It's a chance for you and I yet, my friend. Get that divorce going on, me and you. What would it be? Be a civil thing? Just a low key affair, mate.
Well, you can't have up to 30 people there as well. No, so
I don't want 30 people in. I don't like people. Yeah, you know me. I like who I like, and that's it. But no, the Grand Tour was amazing. Few shout outs, Phil and Toz up in Barrow, Matt Jones, his lovely partner, Vix, and we've got Kyle and Hannah, again from that part of the world. Then I headed up to Glasgow, got to hook up with Digi, Derek, and that was fabulous. Then we went off piste. We went silent for a while, and we went up to Inverness, which is a beautiful part of the world, and had a fabulous time there. It's some fine food. Went to Loch Ness, did a boat trip on the loch, and I swear to God, my friend, as we were coming back into the harbour to end the trip, I glanced back, and I saw in the wake of the boat that we were in, there was a black mass. There was a dark mass under the water, and it was fucking huge. Now, I don't know, but I'm now a believer that there's something big in Loch Ness. Okay, I often dismissed it and thought, well, that's just a bunch of hooey to promote tourism. But hey, I'm a believer. Nessie's there, or something big is under the water. And then we rounded off the Scotland leg of the tour with a shoot over to Edinburgh. Took the good lady to the Royal Botanic Gardens. She absolutely loved it. I mean, she's into gardening anyway. So we had a beautiful walk around there, and got to meet Steve Addicott, Steve O.A., another community member, for a couple of pints and a bite to eat. And then and then on the way back down, we did a wee stop off at Newcastle upon Tyne, which I've lived up there for a few years anyway, and I've always said that I'll take any opportunity to revisit Newcastle. So
I don't think I've ever been there. That's where the Geordies come from? Yes,
that's where the Geordies live, and they're still as daft as ever. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. They're a race of people that they work hard and they play hard, and they just make the most of life. So if they're not working, they're boozing. And it's great, and they're such nice people. So always a pleasure to go back to Newcastle.
Are Ant and Deck still the biggest names to come out of that place?
Well, yeah, and Jimmy Nail, of course. Yeah, and other famous Geordies are available. Should you wish. Sting.
Is he from there?
Yeah, Sting's a Geordie.
I understand. He's into tantric sex.
Yeah, that's like when you go to a titty bar, isn't it? That's basically, I'm going to do tantric sex here and pay her because we're not touching each other.
I think you're still allowed to do stuff, but it involves sort of breathing and connecting on a different level than just...
Do you pull back at the vinegars? Because I've heard about like tantric sex sessions lasting days.
I think that you're getting that mixed up with edging, to be fair, pal.
Edging? What the fuck's edging?
You never heard of edging?
No, explain it to me.
Okay, so it's very much... edging is to allow yourself to reach said vinegar strokes and to just let go and try and hope that you can control yourself. And then you do that over time and you continue to do that. And so I guess there's two reasons of doing it, or three. One is fun. Two, it helps you build up your ability to, I guess, to control those muscles down there, to keep the wolf from the door in those situations. And the other one is just because it's fun and dirty and naughty.
What? Not coming?
Yeah,
is fun.
Well,
in what parallel existence is not coming fun?
Because when you do, it's bigger.
Is it? Bigger.
It's more explosive.
It's like chucking a massive tub of yoghurt across the room. Spilling your yoplait.
It's full of all the good bacteria, don't you know?
Apparently so. That's what I tell them anyway. So it's good for the complexion.
Is it
protein?
Is vitamin D in that?
Vitamin J, mate.
All the J's.
All the J's. Jizz, jazz, junk.
Jimmy
Nail, way I. Okay, yeah, so Grand Tour of the North, beautiful times with beautiful people. And incidentally, the whole mask thing, which we're all required to do now, that was in place in Scotland. So I'd kind of got a bit of a run up to it before it all kicked off in England. And it's from my perspective, it's the right thing to do. Anything that you can do to in any way limit the risk of spreading the virus or catching the virus, you're going to do it. And as a gamer, we're built for this. We're so well disposed to it, and maybe some of us don't realise it. So I'll give you an example, right? Okay, so you're playing an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're heading out into a realm which has got a high risk of poison, yeah, and you're killing mobs. Drops a grey item. It's a mask. Yeah, you've got an empty slot. It gives a plus 0.02% chance protection against disease. What are you going to do? You're going to equip the motherfucker, aren't you? Yeah. Because you've got nothing else. So, okay, it's boosting my stat in some way.
Unfortunately, in real life, there isn't a toggle to not show helm.
But this is where it gets more interesting now. So this is where your Fortnite mentality comes in, and you're able to customize, and you can get all kinds of crazy, beautiful coverings now. I mean, I've got a neck gaiter. You see other people have gone and printed stuff. The world is your oyster, and you can have your own unique mask, and you can make the statement that you want to make while protecting yourself and the people around you. I mean, nothing says "fuck off, don't talk to me" like a mask which has "fuck off, don't talk to me" printed on it. Yeah, so you have an opportunity to make a statement while being a good citizen.
Yeah. I mean, I've just got the cheap stuff. I've got a cheap rubbish one. So I've ordered one of those things that you got today, and because my face isn't suited. Okay, my face is very much suited to be covered.
Because it's a face for radio.
Because it's a face for radio. But I'm still struggling with it, and so the only place I really go to is a petrol station. So my post-dog walk, nip in there, get a coffee from their Costa machine, top up on the old fags or filters or whatever I need. And they weren't really asked, either the staff there or the people going in there with face masks. Obviously now that rule has changed somewhat, and I am doing that. But I think I'm doing it. I think I'm probably doing it more so because of the social acceptance point of view. I don't want to be. I don't want to be the
that guy.
I don't want to be that guy who gets filmed, and before you know it, I'm on Facebook being a knobhead. But it has, obviously, it does do something. It does do something. And also it means that if I do happen to sneeze or cough, and people turn around immediately assuming that they're about to drop dead themselves, and they see that I've got a face mask on, at least I'm doing my due diligence, I suppose.
Yeah.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah. I've seen some funny things, though. There was I follow a group on Facebook called Fuckwits Who Buy and Sell on Facebook. And there was a woman selling custom masks that were for the ladies, and they were made from sort of fishnet type material.
Ooh! Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna work.
Exactly. Exactly. See, that penny dropped quickly for you, my friend. Okay, you get it. But there you go. What else have we been up to, non-gaming wise? Been watching anything good lately?
Oh, what have I been watching? No, I've not watched a fan. Like I've been making a list of some things that I want to catch up on.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing news coming out, is there? I kept seeing that there's a new Christopher Nolan film that looked kind of
Tenet.
Yeah, that looked interesting, but then I don't even know. I mean, talking about places that we will and will not decide to go to as the world continues to be different. I can't see me going to a cinema.
No.
I wasn't really a big fan of them in the first place. No. But even less likely now.
No, I agree.
So I think
for the sake of waiting a few months and waiting for it to come out on, view on demand or ultimately free if you wait a little bit longer, people have invariably got really good home cinema setups. So you can sit there, you can have beers, you can, do your hot dog surprise and all that good stuff. I think it's called Netflix and Chill.
Netflix and Chill.
Well,
I'm looking forward to getting into some new stuff and movies that I've missed out on in the past few years. But no, nothing new. What about you?
So I did watch because I've still got Now TV at the moment. I'm probably going to cancel it at some point. Because I think a number of months ago I signed up for 2 months free for £1, and then COVID kicked in, and they sent me an email and said, "Hey, we know time's shit at the moment, so we're extending your deal for X amount of months." And I think it was just a generic thing they sent out to everybody who were on some kind of deal package. So I went, okay, 50p a month for the next 3 or 4 months. That works for me. So happy. So I thought I'd take the opportunity because, when you look at your streaming preferences of choice, my default would normally be Netflix. sometimes a little bit of Amazon Prime Video. Knives Out's just dropped on that, apparently, so I'm going to be looking at that next week. That was the something bit like Cluedo sort of thing. People in the house.
Never seen Clue.
You never seen Clue?
No.
Fuck me, mate. You've got to track that down. That's a brilliant film. That's a romp of a film.
That's Tim Curry.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Apparently, with Clue, they filmed several different endings, and when it came out at the cinema, they distributed the different endings. So each cinema got their own ending out of a set of so many. So depending on where you went to see it, you got a certain type of ending.
That's cool.
But I understand on the sort of like the video versions, they've spliced all the endings together with a kind of like, oh no, that's not how it happened. This is actually what happened. So there's an interesting fact for you. But yeah, you should totally check that out, mate.
Oh, that sounds like a giggle. A giggle.
That's good. So anyway, I've been watching Gangs of London. So this was on, I think it was on Sky One, but through the power of Now TV, you get all Sky One stuff. So started watching it and took it down in a matter of days. That's a what can I say about that show? I think it's a bit of a Marmite thing. You will either love it or you will hate it. It's very, very violent.
Is it a documentary or is it just
no? It's a
make-believe?
It's a TV show. It's only about 8 or 9 episodes, but it's got some good people in. I can never remember the name of the actors and the actresses. It's got Joe Cole in it, who we know from Peaky Blinders, who was one of the young lads. It's got the bird from terrible with names. The fabulous actress from Game of Thrones, Caitlin Stark. Oh, she plays a good role in that. She does. Got Cole Meany in it.
O'Brien.
Chief O'Brien, yeah, and other actors are available and star in it. But again, can't remember the name of the director, but he's famous for doing stylish stuff, and the set pieces are really the violent bits, and they are incredible. I mean, I can't remember if you've ever played something like a Yakuza game.
No.
Where some of the takedowns are really kind of super high, stylish and visceral, but it's like watching video game cutscenes when these things are going on, and they're so well done.
Is there any humour to it, or is it all dark?
There's a little bit of humour, but I don't think it's intentional. But it's a gripping show, and I really enjoyed it. But your mileage may vary depending on what you like, and some people claim it's just torture porn. I can see where they're coming from with certain things in the show. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, very good. I can recommend.
Gangs of London.
Gangs of London. Yes.
Okay.
What else have you been up to, mate?
Oh, I can tell you a story about our latest foster dog.
Oh, please do.
This was a bit of a strange one. So we got contacted by our charity heads. So obviously somebody reaches out. So the process is somebody reaches out to our people and say we're struggling. Yeah. For the most part, it's change of circumstance. Do you know what I mean? It happens to everybody. We don't get involved in that, but we do get told generally what the vibe is. And what we heard about this guy is that there was a 9-year-old boy. I was like, oh my God, a senior. I've never had a senior. He'll come around here. He'll show how to be a proper dog.
Yeah.
And then he's ex-RAF. I mean, blimey, he's served his country as well. Yeah. He'll really show our dogs how to be a proper dog. He'll sort of drill some discipline into them. And this poor fellow was coming all the way from Scotland.
Yeah.
So it's like a 500-mile journey from where he was from to ourselves here in West Oxfordshire. And I think there were 3 different people. So someone will drive like 100 miles. Yeah. So they'll swap over in the cars. And generally, people then spend sort of 5-10 minutes chatting and checking the dog out, and then go for a wee, and then sending pictures to the group so people will see the journey going on. And that wasn't happening. I didn't think much of it at the time, but it wasn't until the dog arrived here at about 7:30 in the evening. And the lady who did the final drop-off to us is someone we've known for a while, and she got here and she said, I don't know what we're going to do. Open the boot, and this dog was the most aggressive thing I've ever seen. We couldn't get anywhere near the back of her car to even get him out, and he wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
Just baring his teeth and growling and snarling and being a real horrible bastard. And we spent an hour, like, taking it in turns, trying to coax him out with food or water. Eventually, I walked away. I was like, I don't know what the hell we're going to do here. And I left the gate open, and our two went outside, and that was enough for this dog to be like, oh yeah, I'm a dog, aren't I? So he jumped out and started being a dog again. We're like, brilliant. He's okay. There is still a dog there. This guy's fine. So the lady left, and what this dog is called Murphy is, and I still couldn't get close enough to him to take his lead off. So whenever he'd go anywhere near him, he would be growling. And I thought, well, it's been a long old day for him, big old journey. So hopefully he'll be all right tomorrow. But what I found is that he'd find a place in the house and lie down, and that was then his place, and you had to walk around him. And it did get to a point where me and the wife were in here in the office, and neither of us felt comfortable walking past him to get out of the office.
Oh boy!
He was that sort of unpredictable. He took a bite at me, took a bite at my hip.
Yeah.
Thankfully I was wearing jeans. He didn't break the skin and everything. I just thought, oh, little bastard. But we just thought hopefully he'll be all right in the morning. He needs a good old sleep. So I slept downstairs, and he was fine through the night. But the next day he was just not. You just couldn't see a dog anywhere inside him anymore. And it got to a point where the wife was like, I can't stay here. He'd started growling at our dogs as well. So the wife jumped in the car and just went to go and see one of her friends.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to our charity guys going like, I don't know what we're going to do. We're really struggling. So they started making some phone calls in Scotland, particularly to the RAF base where he used to be housed and used to work. And it turned out that his original owner or handler from a puppy was now based in RAF Bryce Norton, 2 miles down the road.
Right.
So we're like, okay, so maybe they can help. So we're thinking, well, and this is like 4:30 on a Friday.
Yeah.
I thought if we could find a kennels, maybe the RAF can come and help do the transport, get him out of the house, get him somewhere, and we can work out what to do next.
Yeah.
And bless, this guy rocked up, two of them, full uniform from the RAF, to come and see Murphy. And he sat outside my house.
Yeah.
Just sort of like called him over, and he just came bursting out like a proper dog, wagging his tail. He was like, "I've not seen this guy for ages. You're my old dad." And that lasted maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and he was back to himself again. But we kind of felt that because we saw that dog again, we were like, "Well, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do this." And I mean, the guy himself, he said, "Look, I can't do anything. I can't even help with transportation because he's a civilian dog now, and contractually and all that sort of stuff." So we thought maybe we'll see him through one more night. But he then bit the wife, drew blood.
Oh no!
We're like, right, we can't have this. But it's interesting being in that situation. So we thought we'll see if we can get a crate. So someone locally sourced us a crate. We thought maybe he'll be better in a crate. Firstly, he's probably more used to a confined. It sounds funny, but a confined space like that from his previous work. We'd feel a little bit more safer if we weren't walking straight past him all the time.
Yeah.
But the moment he saw that, and I tried to bring it in the house, was the first time that instead of waiting to get close to him to be aggressive, he was just being aggressive.
Yeah.
And we couldn't even get in the house. We were in the garden. He'd taken over the house. So when you're in that position, it's like, well, I don't quite know who to turn to. So I called 101 first, the sort of non-emergency police telephone number. And they were like, Because, well, I can give you the number for an Oxfordshire-based dog warden. I called them. They're like, well, we only really deal with lost dogs.
Yeah.
I'm like, so you can't help? I ended up speaking to the RSPCA, and they were like, you need to call 999 because you've got a dangerous dog in your house.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I had to call 999, so in one day we've had 2 RAF officers turn up, 2 police officers turn up to confirm he is indeed a dangerous dog, and then 2 transport specialists who were absolutely amazing, who use those sort of rigid leads with like a loop on.
Yes. Yeah.
To guide him out of the house into this box essentially. Yeah. And at this point, it's like 11:30 at night. It's been such a bloody emotional day, and everybody was absolutely fantastic. But I had to sign a piece of paper. I had to sign the dog over.
Right.
And I was
just like sectioning him.
It's as far as I was concerned, it was kind of sealing his fate.
Yeah.
So off they went, and we were all in bits, and we were chatting to the charity people, and and they weren't particularly happy with the whole way it had gone. It turns out that we'd highlighted some failings, I think, when he was released from his work to a civilian dog again. And I think it wasn't until the Monday where the charity made the decision to put him down. And it was, and they were absolutely distraught as well. It turns out that out of the 400 or so success stories, this is only the second time that this has ever had to happen. And again, it's made me reevaluate how I do things. So if I know that a dog is dangerous, I'm not going to be accepting a dangerous dog until I've met it first.
Yeah.
So
sure.
our previous but one was a dangerous dog and had a bit the owner, but I met him. I was like, owner's fault, not the dog's fault. He's been fine. But I guess the only thing that we have, which is kind of like that makes it a little bit bittersweet, is the fact that obviously everything happens for a reason. The universe finds its way to make things happen. Is that this poor dog, who they also think he probably had a brain tumor, so that huge journey obviously took the last of his dogness out of him. But what we were able to do in his final moments was to meet his very first handler. I mean, this guy was showing me pictures of the dog as a puppy.
Yeah,
and this was like 9 years ago.
Yeah, and clearly, I think you're right. It sounds like there was something medically wrong with the dog, because there was that brief moment when it's almost like if he had Alzheimer's and he had that moment where he did recall everything. And he went, "Oh yeah, it's my dad, and it's great to see you." And then he relapsed back into, "I'm not having none of this business."
Yeah.
I mean, as you were talking through there, I was thinking about, well, something must have happened to that dog to make it that way. That's not a that's not a natural behavioural change. That's because of something that has happened to him. But then at the end, where you mentioned potentially a brain tumour, that kind of fits the story, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So it was very emotional, and I mean, I'm going to have to do that one day with my team, and I've never had to do that as an adult. I mean, we had a dog when I was a kid, but I was far too young to actually sort of understand what was going on. So it sort of hit home, and so kind of like a shit. This is like, that's a thing. Yeah. That's a thing. But my word, the people who helped us out there were absolutely incredible. They were. I mean, they even said, like, do you want? Like, the charity were given the option if they wanted to have his. I think most vets do it like that. They'll cremate it and send it back in a nice little box. We were like, we're better off using the charity money to continue to rehome dogs who are active and everything. So they're passing his body over to Oxford University for medical science and research and things like that. So did all this work in Cyprus, sniffing out drug lords. I mean, like, he was a drug dog.
Yeah. Well, maybe he just had too many.
Well, they weren't in the house.
Oh, so now it all fits.
There's only so much you can clean up, Matthew. Febreze doesn't cover all sins.
Oh wow, that's I guess we're hearing another side of the coin when it comes to the fabulous work that you and your good lady do, and it just sounds like a shame you just got very unlucky, and hopefully going forward you'll be right as rain again.
Yeah. I think we're ready for another one now. Yeah, because they are fun.
Yeah. So when you say you're ready for another one, you mean like a permanent addition?
No.
Or just doing the fostering bit?
Just doing the fostering thing. Yeah. That bit. And maybe not a puppy either, because goddamn, they're hard work.
And is it always the same type of dog that you get, or do they like ring up and go, "Oh, we've got a poodle"?
Well, no, it's Labrador UK Action Group. So it's just labs. I mean, I guess there are. I mean, they're obviously like the Blue Cross and other shelters have taken any waifs and strafes. But I suppose they're one of the largest, most popular breeds, I guess. So, and they all seem to have similar sort of behavioural traits as well. So I guess only having labs come in here means that we kind of know what to expect for the most part. Yeah. But it would be quite interesting, actually, just having a completely different type of dog come in and interact with our two. Because that's the fun bit. It's when you see them playing with your two.
Get Chihuahua, mate. They're funny as fuck.
They got a what?
Get a Chihuahua.
Give me a proper dog.
Cool. Okay. I think we've had a really good chat.
Yeah, so we bring things on to less of a somber...
Non-gaming related. So let's bring it back to what many people are here for, which is all the games.
Oh, yeah.
All the games we've been playing.
All right, well, I'll start with something a bit more upbeat than that. We'll talk about The Last of Us Part 2 again.
Yeah, that'll lift our spirits, won't it? Superb.
So I finished that since we last spoke. When I got back into playing it after we recorded, everything kind of solidified itself in a mechanical point of view, and from a combat point of view, I find myself really, really enjoying it. Really enjoying what happens when things go wrong and how quickly you can potentially see that through into a better result. So I find myself, I inadvertently made myself a kill room. So there was just one room where everyone just kept coming towards, and you can whistle and sort of coax them in, and then take them out with a one-hit kill. And I think at one point I had about 5 bodies in there.
Yeah.
Until the 6th guy was going to come in, and he kicked the door open. And remember when we started playing Demon Souls?
Yeah.
And the ragdolling?
Yeah.
It's like that. This dude just kicked the door open, and bodies were just flying absolutely everywhere. What I will say with that game, I mean, there's so many. I mean, the game itself has been criticised for how it handles different personalities and different people. I mean, it's a story very much about people. Well, less about people as the first one, and more about the world at large after.
Okay.
So I think we were still a good couple of years after the event, and in fact, I don't think Ellie knew the world pre-event. So however the world has been doing, it's been doing its way now for pushing 20 years now. So a lot of communities have found a way to build some kind of sense of normality and society. So seeing that kind of stuff was good. I think where it loses some of its intrigue with me is because they expanded on the cast, if you like, whereas the first one was very centralized with Ellie and Joel. Sort of bringing more people in is, again, it's good to see different people, but it didn't. I mean, you played that first one, didn't you?
I think I played it to a point where I think I got stuck in an area and thought I'm not having fun with this, and I kept banging my head against a wall and not being able to get past it. So I mean, I know I should probably just put it down to easy mode and power on through. But fortunately, I'm not in a space now where I've got a PS4 in front of me. So
no, that's true. I mean, I had to do that. I got stuck in one encounter, dropped down to easy. I thought, I may as well keep it there.
Yeah,
no harm in that.
There's no shame.
No
shame in easy mode, mate.
Nope. And it did. I thought it was going to end a few times, and then it carried on going, and then I was drained by the end, and not in a. You're never going to be drained in a good way, because there's no good ending to that game. I don't think there's no positivity to it. It's the entire game is fraught with just bad choices and bad people, left, right, and centre. But I think I was a little bit. I don't know. I like a game which stays with you and what I mean. So here's an example. Here's an example for you. Gone Home.
Yeah.
Right. The climax to Gone Home, when I thought I knew what I was about to go and find, and my heart was going, and I was terrified that was going to be the case, is an emotion that I remember and will remember long after The Last of Us Part 2. I think that there were a few things in there that were there deliberately for a shock value, there deliberately to maybe make you feel awkward, and it forces you to do things that you might not want to do, but it's a narrative experience, and they've decided to craft their story how they wanted to craft it and wrap it up the way they wanted to. As much as I didn't think they'd ever made a sequel anyway, I certainly would be surprised if they ever went back to the well for a third time. But it was a good game. Yeah. And I think I was saying it last time that Naughty Dog do this very well, and again the voice cast, the actors, the work that went into it, lots of good people there working very hard. I'm sure that there's conversations that could be had about crunch and people being worked too hard. I can't have that conversation. Not a developer. if you've got a PlayStation 4 and you haven't played this yet, maybe it's because you have zero interest. Maybe you're never going to play it. I don't know who to recommend it to, because if you've not already got it and played it, you're probably never going to.
Yeah, I think it is one of those that the early uptake will be people that were locked in from the outset, from the moment it was announced. So somebody like myself, I would be thinking, well, I'm not going to even consider picking up the second until I've played and completed the first one. And I'm curious as to whether there's people out there that have not played the first one at all and have kind of mentally gauged themselves out immediately and said, well, pointless playing the second one because I've not played the first one. Do you think, from having played the first one and then jumping on to the second one, is it one of those games where you can just jump in at 2, or do you really need to have played the first one?
Oh God, you probably could, and you wouldn't be okay. You could, and it will tell you what you needed to know happened, but you probably won't take as much out of it. And I think that's where that's where the conversations have all been. It's where they took the story.
Yeah. So interestingly, is there an option at the beginning of the game where it asks you, have you played the first game?
Not actively, no.
Okay. So I imagine that the opening of that game has to make some assumptions that there are people that have played the first and people that haven't played the first. So is there are they going over old ground with anything, or is it basically, well, if you've not played the first one, you're not going to get this?
They do. So they hit all the major story beats from the first one that make this the compelling story that it is, and they do it from different perspectives as well. Which was, from playing it in the first one, seeing it from a different perspective does give you an interesting glimpse into people's moralities and purposes. If you hadn't played the first one, you'd probably still get as much enjoyment out of it because again, the beat-to-beat moment combat bits, fantastic. Love it. I think I preferred fighting dudes over the infected. It was just so much fun to hide, and then you can have explosive arrows, or you can I think you could poison people, you could set traps.
Yeah.
So many times I would find myself restarting at a checkpoint, but never felt like, except for the one time when I had to drop it to easy in a I guess the boss fight, if you like, of the game. I never felt that it wasn't going to be fun trying it again, and that was a lovely experience because you do have a wealth of tools at your disposal when you're going through it. So I don't know, 7 out of 10.
That's good enough. That's a good enough score.
Yeah. No,
there'll obviously be the why so low cries, but
I think if you put a gun to my head, I'd say 8 out of 10.
Okay.
It's not like I care about scores or if anyone cares about scores. Once again, if you're going to play this game, you've already played it.
Yeah.
There's one cool thing that's in the game that's not. I think it helps tell some narrative things, but from a functional point of view, there are a number of times where your character plays a guitar.
Right.
And what it does is it wants you to strum on the touchpad on the controller, while also pointing the stick in one of 8 directions to choose your note.
Yeah.
But then you could also use one of the bumpers to tab through different types of notes. And the accuracy of that design is to the point where you can individually pluck strings by just tapping the corresponding height on the trackpad, while also then jumping from different chords to different chords and different types of chords. And if you ever get bored, you go and find yourself a YouTube rabbit hole of watching people playing like the iconic song from the first one in this, or playing Master of Puppets by Metallica or something like that. Again, a feature that they put in there and spend an awful lot of time doing for maybe 3% of the people to appreciate its actual craft and ability.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. That was a lot of fun, actually. And then when you finished, there's no new game plus necessarily, but it lets you jump into any of the combat encounters throughout the story without worrying about any of the cutscenes or anything. Okay. Which is, I don't know, seemed quite fun. Yeah. I didn't bother. And I'm not going to play it again.
Okay. Any multiplayer with this one?
No.
Okay.
No. There was with the first one, and that was quite fun and quite different. I have heard things that they're not planning on doing traditional DLC, so I'm expecting, or I'm certainly hoping for a multiplayer thing to be released.
They'll just drop that.
Yeah.
I think they'll drop that in.
And maybe if you can drop it and give it free for anybody who's bought the game.
Yeah.
Maybe put a little price on it if you don't want that.
Excuse me.
Because, I mean, that's what games are these days. Sometimes you either just buy... I mean, like, I'm still surprised that you still buy Call of Duty as a full price thing. Instead of just, do I just buy the campaign? Do I just buy the multiplayer? Do I just buy the Battle Royale? Although I think that's free.
Yeah.
I do keep meaning to check that out, you know. This Battle Royale thing, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think I've played any.
Okay.
I didn't do PUBG.
No. Did you do DayZ?
I didn't do DayZ.
I did a bit of DayZ back in the day. I love the concept. I love the concept of being dropped into a world and it's like you against everyone else. Obviously, there's squad up opportunities, etc., etc. But I love the concept. Totally get it. What I don't love is kind of like the farty stuff that they've got going on. I think that's the Uncle Fist description of Fortnite, where it's farty and you're building stuff on the fly, and that takes it out of me. That takes me out of the experience. If you're going to put me in a survival arena, I want it to be like Hunger Games. Yeah, I want real weapons, real death, real jeopardy. Just give me that. And I know it's out there, but again, I'm not currently in a space to be able to enjoy that.
What was the story with the conch and the kids on an island?
What?
Islands, kids, a conch. Isn't that like a big shell that they blow?
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know, mate. Lord of the Flies?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Yeah. So there you go. Last of Us 2, 8 out of 10. Knock yourselves out.
Oh, right, okay. You've upgraded it. Just on reflection.
Gun
Cool.
to my head.
Okay, what else?
What else have I been doing? I've been playing Peggle.
Of course you have.
I have.
Of course you have.
I've had. It's my windowed game. A game which I can happily play in a small window, and I'm doing what I did before. I'm going through to just try and get all of those challenges done.
Yeah.
And it's never the primary thing that you're doing. It's always a complete secondary thing while listening to music, watching videos on YouTube. I mean, I'm watching YouTube now more than telly, I think. There's just so much to choose from.
There is.
Still playing that. I did grab Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
The one from last year on the PC, and I think I've probably put about 12 hours into it. And I'm like, it's certainly more the same. Do I have a desire of going and mopping everything up on that map? It's a big map, and there's still lots of like ship stuff, and it's all still very spectacular. I'd sort of play it for an hour at a time, maybe, but I just look at the closest question mark and then just go there, and then realize that everything's scaling with me. So am I actually getting any benefit from doing that? I might get another drop. I might get like an epic fucking something or other, but then I'm leveling up constantly. So within 2 levels time, it'll become obsolete. And I certainly missed the boat when it comes to the initial launch and enjoyment of it. But I think I got it for like 16 quid on Steam. I thought
It's not bad, is it?
And if anything, it's demonstrated to me that this rig here is still up to playing last year's games.
Yeah.
So I know that things like, oh gosh, what's the Postman Simulator with Norman Reedus? Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I know that's come to the PC.
Yeah.
And when that comes at a decent price one day, I'll pick it up because I'll probably be able to run it.
Yeah, sure.
And I just have zero... I don't want to take the console back out again because it's just too noisy.
Yeah.
Even though Ghost of Tsushima looks awesome.
Yes, it does.
It does. But the last thing I will talk to you about, I've been thinking about telling you about this the past couple... I'm trying to think how long I've been playing it. It's my iPhone jam of the year.
Right.
And it's called Archero. It's either Archero, A-R-C Hero, or Archero. I suspect it's Archero because you play an archer.
Okay.
And this is the weirdest thing about this is, as you'll have seen this a few times, that when you're playing a freemium game on your phone, it'll be like, I don't know, watch a video for some summit.
Yeah.
And you'll watch a video for some summit, and it might be an interactive one, which is kind of fun. It might be one that looks like it's interactive, so you click something, it takes you to the store, and you say, fuck off. I don't want to do that. And it kept showing me elements of this game, making it look like a tower defense game.
Right.
Because it was showing the user building a funnel out of bits of wall and then hitting a start button and then mobs going through it while you shoot it. But that's not what the game is.
Okay. What is the game?
It's actually more of a roguelite.
Okay.
So the way it actually operates is top down, simple enough but quite bright looking graphics. You're the archer. You have full range of movements, analog movements. You can run around, but you only shoot when you're standing still.
Right.
And you shoot automatically, and you automatically aim at the closest enemy. As you are, all the enemies have hit points. You have hit points, and there are an array of upgrades that you get. You choose your starting upgrade, and then as you're going through and going, so it's sort of wave based. So typically, your world has 50 levels. You'll start world 1. You destroy all the enemies in the first level. You go through the little cave into level 2. Different bunch of enemies. Each world has a similar type of enemy. And also a similar type of environment layout. It's not particularly complicated. You'll see there'll be a few obstacles maybe, or there'll be traps on the floor you need to look out for. And then as you go from room to room, you'll level up when you hit a ping, and then you'll get an option to take on another upgrade. So the upgrades might be you either shoot faster, or that your hits have more impact, or your familiar that you have is going to do a different elemental attack. Diagonal shots. The best one is ricochet, so you'll hit one and it'll hit somebody else. And then also while you're going through the game, you're getting all these drops of armor. So your character's got your typical kind of character page with your weapon, your armor, your gloves, your boots, your ring, your familiars. And then when you find 3 of the same thing, you can then upgrade it from a common to a rare to an epic to an ultra epic and all the colours go with it. So like go to your greens, to your blues, to your purples, to your oranges. It has that thing where there's a lot to do outside of the game,
right?
Around again investing your currency into permanent upgrades to your character. Or you might want to pay to level your character up, or you might want to pay to unlock a different character. There's your initial one, and then there's other ones you could buy for real money if you want. It's been going for a long time. I really enjoy it. They've been adding to it quite a lot. They've even released a multiplayer, a 2-player version of it, but it doesn't have any kind of a matchmake. So you either create a room and it gives you a code, or you join a room and you enter a code. I understand that there's a Reddit page. To try and find people to play with, I guess, there and then, because I've not seen that in action yet, so I might check that out. There's also different challenges that they come out with, and they're very good at bringing out new stuff, new currencies. They've just released now, I think, a 3rd or a 4th currency. This was the game I mentioned ages ago where I purchased a battle pass, and I was like, I don't know if that is forever or just this one season. It was just that one season, wasn't it? Yeah. But since then, have I dropped any money on it? I think I might have done. I probably dropped about 15 quid on this.
Okay.
And I am playing the shit out of it. And it has the energy system, so it stops you from constantly playing. But then there's, watch a free video here or there. Yeah. I'm glad that I've got a phone upgrade, because I can imagine this draining battery pretty sharpish.
Sure.
But a real good recommendation, and the only thing I've been playing on my phone now, I'd say, for the past 6 months.
Wow! And
I think I've seen again on when you're sort of watching a video because you want to double. So like when you come back to it each morning, it says, "Oh, because you've been away this long, you can get this much stuff, or you can watch a video to get 150% of it." You better believe I'm doing that every single day.
You bet your sweet ass I am.
And it was like, here's Tankro. I'm like, I really hope this is the same developer who just reskinned it, because it is exactly that, a reskin.
Is it?
Yeah, so there must be some other ones out there like this, but tried and tested. Go and check it out. Archero, I saw you Googling. Is it available on...
I believe it's available on iOS and Android. Yes, I'm looking at it on the Google Play Store right now.
Yeah, 4.4 out of 5, does it say?
Yeah. What we got? Got any box quotes here? This game is truly amazing. I'm totally in love with it. Definitely recommend it. It's just a really good game in every respect. This game is one hell of a train ride. All seems very, very positive. Wow. Now, for the benefit of the listeners there, Matthew's got he's got one of those fancy, well, I wouldn't say they're fancy because you can pick them up for about £1 now. One of those electronic tennis rackets that sends like 1,000 volts through a fly when he makes contact. So that snap was a fly exploding.
Well, so because we got dogs, I can't use your sort of typical fly spray.
No.
So I was looking for alternatives. I was even asking, like, on our Labrador group on Facebook, and they were like, get one of these things. Everyone looked like the kids love it and everything. And I'm thinking, that sounds seems a bit dark.
Yeah.
So I went onto Amazon. I was looking at the reviews on Amazon. They're like, it's great exercise. The kids love it. I'm like, I'm a fucking straight up killer.
Become a sport at some point, won't it?
I like to make sure one of them lives to go and tell the rest of them what happened.
Yeah. Can you imagine like being one of those that they'll turn it into some kind of arcade game where you stand in a ball like in the Crystal Maze, at the end where you're collecting all the money. You're standing in a glass chamber and they just release hundreds of flies into it and you're just there swatting, zapping everything. Oh, we are heartless bastards, aren't we?
We are bastards.
We are. No, that sounds really cool, mate. I'm gonna check that out. You mentioned the multiplayer. Do you know if that's platform agnostic or?
Ooh. No.
No.
But what's kind of nice is that there's a messaging system in there. And I don't think you can actually send messages to other users, but on a regular basis, the developers reach out, and often they'll say, "Oh, sorry about something or other. That thing knackered for a little bit. I didn't even notice, but here's a free bunch of gems on us.
It's a bunch of shit to say sorry.
Here's some stuff. Thank you very much."
Okay, more questions relating to this. So I've got a couple of options. I could install it on my phone, or I could go through the Google Play option and install it on my Chromebook. Is it a game that would lend itself to be on a bigger screen in portrait mode? In landscape mode?
Don't know, because you play it in portrait. The levels are designed to be held in portrait.
Okay.
What it does do, I remember when we first started playing iOS games, or I did anyway, many years ago, I think I got a code for the site and reviewed something called, not Bayonetta. Who's the female fictional character? Kind of a little bit like Bayonetta, but I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, it was the first time I used a virtual D-pad on a screen.
Yeah.
And remember, you got those sort of those suction things
to
try and up your game a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so much better than it used to be.
Okay.
So you can press, you can have your thumb anywhere, and it still knows what you're doing.
Okay, cool.
It's really good at not getting that in the way.
I'm gonna take a look at that. I'm taking a look at it with trepidation because it sounds like, from what you've been saying and reading the handful of reviews on the Google Play Store, that this could be a time sink. Is it one of those games where you can go away and come back to it periodically, or have you got are you permanently going back to it?
I probably go back to it a couple of times a day, but it's also the only thing I play. And I guess that concept of power and having to spend it to play is also a good way of restricting your time on there. But no, I'll play it on the toilet. I'll play it on a conference call.
Okay. Well, good lady's on the lookout for a new mobile jam, so we shall see.
Go on then. Get the good lady hooked up, and me and her will go Archero.
Well,
together.
She's on Android, mate. So you stay away from my missus.
Did you deliberately put her on a different ecosystem
with your mucky iOS shenanigans? You'll have to put up with me, mate. But you know where I've been, so
I know what to expect.
Yeah, you do.
Right, from a digital point of view, that's me covered.
Okay, I do have digital discussions to be had. So clearly, when we last spoke, I just got hold of the Switch and I was enjoying it, loving the hell out of it. I'm pleased to say that I'm still absolutely loving the hell out of it. This is potentially one of my favourite consoles of all time, and this is so there's a couple of things that really do it for me. I love the flexibility of play, so I can dock it and I can play it on the big screen, or I can take it out and I can play it handheld. I'm still looking at around 99% handheld mode. I rarely dock it, which is just a personal choice on my part. I enjoy winding down at the end of the day. I may only spend 5 or 10 minutes playing it in bed, but it's just a nice way to round the day off. I love the fact that, and I've never seen this with Nintendo before, that they've always kind of been this kind of company that you associate their eShops being, well, here's the eShop, everything's full price, fuck off. All right, if you want it, buy it, pay full price. No, sirree, Bob, not with the Switch eShop. I would say at any given point in time, there's an average of around 450 to 500 games that are discounted at any point, and this ranges from minimal discounts to whopping 90% discounts. And I feel compelled. I'm just browsing the store every day because things fall off and on the discount all the time. And there's great YouTube channels out there that kind of summarise the current, best eShop bargains that you can pick up right now. And I must admit, I've picked up a number of things that have been massively discounted, and one of them is a game I'm going to talk about right now, which is it's a game called Mana Spark. Now, I picked this up I think I picked it up for a couple of quid. There was a good discount on it. The regular price on the Switch is $8.99. It's also available on Steam, currently £9.29. So again, knowing Steam as we do, if you put it on your wish list, at some point you will get a notification saying this is a lot cheaper in some kind of Steam sale, because that's how Steam rolls. So, what is Mana Spark? It's, what did you say earlier? A roguelite? Would it be fair to say that it's one of those? Because you know more about this genre than I do. Basically, the game is it's built on a cycle of you're a guy, you're going out into a procedurally generated dungeon, if you will. You start off with a basic set of powers. Effectively, when you start the game, you're like one guy with a bow and arrow, and it's a twin stick thing. So you're moving with the left stick, and you're aiming with the right stick, and you use your shoulder buttons to fire off your arrows. So you're working your way through this dungeon. You've got to unlock the room, which allows you to progress further down. That will normally involve activating a switch somewhere within the map. But also as you're going through, as you're killing, as you enter a room, the doors lock, so you've got to clear the room of all the mobs before you can continue. They will drop, there's three types of things that get dropped. Firstly is kind of the classic drumstick, chicken drumstick, which will obviously restore your health at some way. There are coins, which is one of the currencies which you can use to buy things at certain points during your delve. And the other currency, which is one you really want to be interested in, is the runes. So runes will help you upgrade your camp. So you start at this camp, it's absolutely desolate, there's nothing there, there's just one guy going, I'll try and find some people to help you, there's people like you. Because the background of the story is there's a big evil descended upon the world, and you're kind of an outcast, and you're kind of building the rebellion to get back against the big bads. These classic tropes. So as you're going through and you're doing your delve, you're improving. You get to stop off at a chamber where you can bank all of the runes that you collected, but you also have the opportunity to buy kind of like an offhand weapon or an offhand thing that will help you out, and that could be anything from a bear trap which you throw on the floor, which will damage any enemies that you kite them into. You can buy things that will boost your health. You'll buy things that will you can buy a net which casts out on the floor. Any mob that comes onto that net will be slowed down. These things are upgradable. Once you've collected them once, they go into your arsenal, and a person will appear in your campsite at some point. Will go, hey, you give me your weapons that you've picked up. I can upgrade them for you, make them better. So with the classic example with the net, when you upgrade it, not only does it become a net that slows them down, but it also poisons the enemy as well. Gives them, got a better chance of killing them. So you do these runs, and there are bosses, but you'll die. You'll die a lot. Let's be clear. You will die a lot. But each time you return back to camp, all of the runes that you've stashed are available to spend, so you can spend it to the guy that can make your offhand stuff better. There's another person that turns up who will allow you to research the weakness of certain monsters, so you can activate one of those at any given on any given run to say, right, okay, I've really struggled against this monster. I've researched their weakness, so when I now go up against them, because I've got their weakness activated, they're easier to kill. And then there's another guy who's kind of like a cook. He's a chef, and he'll make you special meals, which will give you either a health boost or an attack boost or a speed boost. And those are upgradable in stages as well. So it kind of sends you on this permanent cycle of delve, kill, collect, try and get as far as you can, defeat the boss, get further. You die, you go back to camp. Everything you've accumulated you can spend on your upgrades, so you're a little more powerful. You go back in and you delve again. I really like that loop, and I'm sure it does it. I'm sure there's a lot of games that do it, and you'll probably be able to rattle off a handful right now. But this is kind of my first experience for that type of game. The art presentation is very much kind of like a retro 8-bit, very minimalistic, but it works really well.
It's quite dark. I don't know. Is it always deliberately that dark, or this was my first time playing it on the Switch as well? I was just thinking, is that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you wouldn't want to play it while you're outdoors. And I know you've got sun streaming in through your window because it's a glorious day today. But if you hold the thing right, especially if you're laid in bed, mate, and you've got the curtains shut for all that naughty stuff that you like to do, you can roll off and then power up the Switch and do a run on Mana Spark.
Yeah. So I think you were showing me some of the some of the blurb that went with it. I think it mentioned Binding of Isaac. It felt like that for me, going from room to room and doors being blocked off.
I would say I would class it as Binding of Isaac meets Dark Souls.
Yeah.
In a way, because each of the monsters behave differently, so you've got to learn their attack patterns. But also there are bosses where the first time you encounter them, they will just stamp on your bollocks. No word of a lie. They will literally stamp on your bollocks.
I noticed there was a roll or a dodge. Are you invincible during that?
You could be. I'm an idiot, so I don't dodge very often. But you do unlock another character. I think there's 3 to unlock altogether. I've only unlocked the second one, and she's got a crossbow, so she fires three bolts in succession. Probably do less damage than the standard bow, but she's got like a dash. She's got like 3 dashes, and you can upgrade that to make it 6. So they're kind of regenerating over time. But it's really good fun.
So one thing I was wondering. So it sounds like you're enjoying your Switch in bed. Does it still, obviously, unlike if you're sat in front of a big old monitor like I am before going to bed, there's the concept of blue light, and it's not necessarily a great way of relaxing your body before bed. Do you have a similar thing like that with a Switch, or is it somehow mitigated by a smaller screen?
I mean, it's going to be different for all sorts of different people. But for me, the act of doing that and playing a game in bed before I go to bed, that actually helps me go to sleep.
Well, it's a habitual thing, isn't it? Your body.
It is a habitual thing.
I'm lying down.
And as long as I can remember, I've always had to have that kind of wind down time. And even if sometimes it'll literally be just 5 minutes. I'll have a 5-minute blast on something. I'll say, right, I'm ready to sleep now. And and that's been that way since, as far as I can remember, you were able to take something portable to bed. So probably Game Boy will have been my first experience of bedtime gaming. Obviously, other fun is available.
Well, a flashlight.
Of course. Yeah, all that other mucky doings.
What's the file size or something like that? Do you know?
Oh, I've no idea. I think I've got a 256 gig meg. No, gig. Yeah, 256 gig. I forgot what decade I was in then. A 256 gigabyte micro SD card. It just sounds ridiculous. Only because I remember file sizes have just exponentially increased over years. I could never imagine if you said to me 250. I know there's terabyte cards, micro SD card holding a terabyte of data. That is fucking insane. My first memory card, I remember, was probably like 4 meg. Like a 4 meg SD card you stuck in your Nokia phone. Jesus Christ. But no, Mana Spark, I can really recommend it. So you had a quick go with it. How does that stack up against other similar types of games? And what would you equate it to in terms of similarity?
Probably not a million miles away from... I said it earlier because I mentioned that they're working on a sequel. Now I forget its name. Rogue Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has that. It's that same loop of all of them. And I think one of the things that you mentioned is one of the things that I enjoy about those games is you start to recognise the enemies themselves. You recognise their patterns. You recognise their weaknesses. I like the fact that you can use one of your upgrades to say that, like, I just don't like that guy. Right, forever on, I want him to be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a lot of different play styles, which is good. And again, you're so similar to what I was talking about with my Archer game is that you are an archer with this. The first thing that I wasn't expecting, but it makes sense, is that when you're drawing your bow, you can't move.
Correct.
Which probably makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
But straight away I was like, oh, hang on a minute, I can't just be kiting and spamming at the same time. I've got to make sure I give myself enough distance to get a shot or two off, and I guess that's where the compliments come in with the offhands, with ways of slowing people and poisoning them. But no, I could see that being quite a thing. You said it was on Steam as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I imagine it works with a controller normally.
Got to do well, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I might have a look into that.
It was £9.29 on the Steam store. Would you pay a tenner for it? I'm not sure. I would probably wishlist that. Wait for it to get a bit cheaper. I feel you feel like you're getting good value for money.
Yeah. Well, I've just downloaded Dead Cells again on the Xbox Game Pass on the PC, so that's going to be my next Rogue jam. Cool. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to back that on the Steam list. Steam list, wish list.
Wish list.
Is that like an Amazon wish list where if you wanted to, you could send a link to people saying, "Anybody want to buy me anything?"
I guess so. I know that if, from recollection, because I've not used Steam in ages, if you're looking at a game and it's on your friend's wish list, it will tell you that it's on somebody's wish list. So you go, do you know what? It's in the sale and it's only £1. I'm going to treat them.
I'm keep an eye out for that.
Or it's full price and I want to put my willy in them. I'm going to gift it to them.
One sure way into someone's pants is buying them a game off Steam.
There you go. That's my knob gag quota for the show. Come back next time. Because you know me, mate. I'm all about the arsehole. Tell you what else I've been playing. Because one of the great things about the Switch is that you have the opportunity, and they call it Tate mode, Tate. And this is where you can flip the screen vertically.
Yeah.
And there's a load of vertical shooters that are on the Switch that support this mode. So effectively, you unhook or detach your controller, and then you can just you can orient your Switch screen vertically and play things as they were intended.
Oh, have you been playing some shmups?
I have been playing some shmups. I'll tell you what I've been playing, because I picked up again cheap. I think it was the one of the who did Nemesis. Capcom? No, Konami. The Konami collection. I've got a Konami collection on the Switch, and I bought it because not only has it got loads of different versions of Nemesis, Twinbee, whatever, it's got Scramble. I'm playing Scramble in portrait mode, and it's fucking amazing. I love it. I love that game. I love that game so much. But then you kind of get yourself to thinking, well, vertical is great. What would fit well in vertical? Oh, fucking pinball, motherfucker. Pinball. So I'm back in love with my pinball games. Downloaded Pinball FX3. I've downloaded Pinball Arcade, Stern Pinball Arcade, Zachariah Pinball. Other pinball games are available, but they're shit.
Is FX the popular one?
FX3 is the most popular one. So the interesting thing is, with FX3, they started off as making their own tables. And they did very well with that. And then they secured some licenses. So they got themselves the Marvel license. They got the Star Wars license. They've grabbed a few other licenses along the way. There's a Walking Dead table. There's a Portal table. There's some Fox-related stuff. Family Guy, Archer, Bob's Burgers, something. But recently, so up until very recently, the Pinball Arcade had the monopoly on officially licensed real world tables replicated in a digital form. It looks like, well, it has. There's no two ways about it. Farsight Studios, who produce the Pinball Arcade, they lost the license to the Williams tables. So Williams were a big producer of tables, and that was snapped up by Zen Studios, who make Pinball FX. So now you're seeing Williams tables appearing and made available through Pinball FX.
So pre-FX, was that called Zen Pinball?
Yeah.
Was that 360 thing?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, then they rebranded the whole thing.
Yeah,
to
it all went Pinball FX, and
Right.
and that's why it's been for a number of years. So really pleased to have been able to I mean, as it stands at the moment, at the time of recording, there's a whole swathe of discounts for the Williams table packs, so I've picked all those up. So I've got all the Williams tables that are currently available. There's still many more. I think they've just released or just announced another pack which is available later in the year. Which has got some new Williams tables. But one of the things I really love about Pinball FX is it's got this tournament mode, and it is platform agnostic. For almost any platform that supports Pinball FX3. There may be some outlying issues with PlayStation 4. I couldn't confirm or deny, but it's worth trying, because we've got a tournament up and running on the Facebook group at the moment, and you can noisy bastards. Okay, so we're recording here. Did you not put a sign out? Have you got the red light out on the road?
I'll turn it on in a minute.
But no. So the tournament mode is really good, because you can play it. You can get involved from any platform. In fact, you probably don't even have to go to the Facebook group. If I gave you a few key details right now within this podcast, and I'm gonna put it out there now and say any future tournaments that are in play, they will feature this same set of details. So you look for a tournament called Bear. Okay, BEAR, that's easy to remember. And the password, because these will always be private tournaments, because I don't want any Johnny-come-lately coming along. This is for the midlife gamer community. So the password to enter the tournament will be Go Pins Deep, or Go Pin Deep. Yeah, it's Go Pin Deep. All one word, all lowercase. Go Pin Deep. Get yourself on. We've got a tournament running at the moment. I think it lasts until Friday. It's the free table, which comes with the game, because the way Pinball FX3 works is you download it for free. You get a free table out of the box, which is Sorcerer's Lair, and I think there's another table as well, maybe a Williams table. So there's nothing stopping you getting involved with this right now. Anybody who has access to a device that supports Pinball FX3, download it, go to the tournaments, find Bear, enter it. It's one ball. Score as much as you can.
Only one ball.
It's only one ball, mate.
Oh, okay. And
but you've got flexibility. You've got control over how you set your tournament up. So it could be, the most score in 5 minutes with with unlimited ball saves, or it could just be a standard three ball. Score as much as you can.
Does it still have the concept of a free ball if you do the right things?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And even if you shit and the ball drains straight away, you'll get a ball save.
So I've just downloaded that on the PC.
Yeah.
I will be delving into that to get my name on that list somewhere. How many people have logged a score thus far?
I think there's about 8 or 9. I know somebody's just come in and knocked me off the top spot. But I also know there's some outliers out there. There's some really good players who've yet to get involved, and I know that they're going to be coming on strong and bringing the fire with their pinball skills. But it's a bit of fun.
Can you do a digital nudge?
You can nudge digitally. Obviously, that's going to vary from device to device. I would assume it's just pushing. It's an alternate button. It's the moving the analog stick on the Switch. But you know me, I like going balls deep or pinballs deep with my stuff. So I picked up a little gadget, a little gizmo called a flip grip, which is available for the Switch. I had to import it from the States. The postage cost was higher than the actual item itself. It retails for $12, and basically allows you to detach your controllers, put it into this I guess the case or this carcass, and then you could attach your controllers to the side of it, and allows you to play in vertical mode. So not only does it work for your pinball games, but anything else that supports tape mode on the Nintendo Switch. So all the shmups in the world that you want, you can play as intended.
What was the airplane one? Was it 1940?
1941. Then it was 1942, and then there's some other variants as well.
You do a loop-de-loop in that.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. Now that's a stylish way to avoid enemy fire. Yeah. So loving it. Get my pinball vibe back on. Very much enjoying that right now. But that's all I've got on the digital front. There are some other things I could talk about. I'm going to save it until the next show.
Oh, all right.
Alrighty. So, hey, we've been rattling on for a fair old while, my friends. So I think we should probably take a little break, collect our thoughts, go for a piss. You can make me a nice coffee. Although I do have a bottle of water here, so I might just stick with that. And but we'll be right back after this. We're not giving you chip tunings this time round. In between this show and the last show, we sadly lost one of the great movie composers, Ennio Morricone, famous for things like Good, the Bad and the Ugly, and The Mission, and other great soundtracks. But interestingly, and this is a callback to people who've been listening to this show for a long time, there was a piece of interlude music we used to use that we're gonna roll out for old time's sake, because it was actually composed by Ennio Morricone. So so here you go. Here's that interlude music we used to use. And we're back. Very nice. Fully refreshed, watered, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, nourished.
Nourished, yes. Keep drinking your water. We don't do enough of it in our lives. Much good water. My good lady always takes a glass of water to bed with her. Don't know why. Keeps moisture.
I had an ex who did that. It's because she didn't swallow.
Oh, poor you. And that's why she's an ex. Zing! Yes, I'm a terrible human being. Don't at me. Hey, I've got a couple of analog things I want to talk about. And before you switch off, you digital-only nerds, these are a couple of great entry-level gateway games, or light fillers, whichever way you want to look at it. So the first game I'm going to talk about is, and this is one of those games where when you start getting into board games and you Google what are your main go-tos. So there'll be like Ticket to Ride, there'll be Settlers Catan, and then there's always this one gets mentioned, and I blinkered myself away from it for so long because I think it can be very easy for you to go, oh well, that's a really old game and it can't be that good anymore. But there's a reason these games hold up, is because they're kind of timeless, and the game I'm going to talk about is definitely a timeless one, which is Carcassonne. So Carcassonne is a tile-laying game where it supports up to 5 players, or no, it supports 4 players out of the box. You can get a 5th player expansion, and you basically start the game with a bunch of tiles which are all face down and they're stacked in piles. And you'll start with a tile on the table, which has got it's got a little bit of a town, and it's got a bit of road. Mm-hmm. And the concept of the game is you've got a set of meeples in your arsenal. I think it's 7 or 8. And your turn consists of, you draw a tile from the pile and you lay it down. And it has to be orthogonally adjacent to any tile that's currently out, and it needs to be a legal place. So a bit of green land can, or a bit of green can be placed next to something that's got a bit of green. Or if there's a bit of road, you can, if your piece you're laying has got a bit of road on it, you could attach it to extend that road. And then you have an opportunity then to, once you've drawn a tile and you've placed a tile, you can place a meeple. So, for example, if I play down a tile that's got a bit of road on it, providing there's nobody else's meeple on that current road that I'm laying on, I could put a meeple on it. And then I'm kind of claiming that road, but I'm not scoring anything as of yet. It's not until the road is complete at both ends. So it might be touching a city, or it might be a road with a little bit of village on it. As soon as that road is complete, then you score where your meeple is for that bit of road, and you recover the meeple back to your pool. So there's this interesting dynamic where you're simply drawing a tile, you're placing it on the table, and you're potentially securing or bagsying. That's a word I've not used for years. So I'm bagsying that bit of road for me, so that once it's complete, I'm going to score. So there's a little score track off to the side. So you score from roads, you score from cities. So the way cities work is, as soon as you've got a meeple in that city, you've kind of bagsyed that city. However, if a city tile is placed elsewhere and somebody else has got a meeple on it, if both of those tiles at some point become part of a wider city, then you both score from it. Okay. Now, I know you're probably going to struggle to get your head around this one, because this isn't one that we've actually played. But trust me, it's a very simple game. I know it's a simple game because my good lady really enjoys playing this, and she's very selective and quite discerning in what I can put on the table in front of her. Invariably, if it involves cloaks or swords or
all that
Gandalf shit, she's not interested. However, we'll come back to that point a little later on. But it's a very relaxing game. There's no tension. You're just playing. You're placing tiles. You're placing meeples. You're scoring meeples, and you're seeing this unique landscape being built in front of you, because no two games are going to play out the same, because you remember you're drawing these tiles from an unknown pile.
Is it a collective pile? Yeah,
it is. It's a collective pile, and you just with the base game, and that's all we are playing at the moment is the base game. Okay, there are a ridiculous amount of expansions for this, which will just add a new gameplay element. They're absolutely not required to get any more enjoyment out of this game. You can get as much enjoyment out of the base game as you do with each edition of an expansion. Just adds a little more complexity, or another option, a way of scoring. I know there's crazy fuckers out there that throw all the expansions in, and that's certainly doable, but that would be a ridiculously long game, I think.
Okay.
Not only because of the amount of tiles, because some of these expansions do add additional tiles, but the fact that you've got so many different scoring options, you would just get analysis paralysis. or AP as it's known in the industry.
Oh, is that actually a thing?
Yeah. Where you're just sitting there going, I don't know what to do. And there's so many different ways of scoring and you'll have these people that min-max and they try and get maximum efficiency from the stuff that they're playing. But this is just enjoy it. It's the best way to play it. Carcassonne is widely available. It is in print. You can pick it up for about 20 quid, maybe a little more. I would recommend this wholeheartedly as a good family game. If it's just 2 people, you can have a fantastic time. Again, up to 4 people doesn't really add any additional time to the game. It's just, especially if you draw your new tile, as soon as you played your old one and ended your turn, you're kind of there looking at it, and straight away, you as the tableau grows and as the landscape grows, you start thinking, all right, well, if I put that there, I can score a bit.
Does that lead to those times where you go, oh, you bastard, I was about to put?
Yeah, absolutely,
brilliant,
absolutely.
So being a classic, and you've only just started to play it, have you always had it in the collection and just decided now's the time?
No. I like I say, I kind of blinkered myself away from it because I thought, oh well, I'm into all these highfalutin deck builders and deep strategy games and what have you. So you almost think, well, maybe that's just a little too simple. But the beauty is in its simplicity. It really is, and I've enjoyed playing it so much. I've gone balls deep, and I've bought a load of expansions. But that's fine. That's me. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But if the good lady said to me, right, we're going to play a game tonight, I can pretty much say it's going to be 1 or 2 games she'll want to play. It's either Monopoly Deal, because she's a fucking killer at that, and she just destroys me every time, or she will go, yeah, let's play Carcassonne, because she enjoys it.
Excellent.
So that says to me, this could be enjoyed by many because of this discerning taste that she has. I would say if it gets past her quality gate, it's good for a wide range of people.
All right.
Okay, so there's Carcassonne. Fully recommend that. And the second and final one for this show, is a game that I brought along with me, and we set it up, and we had a couple of games, and that's Dungeon Mayhem. Yeah, Dungeon Mayhem.
Yeah.
This is made by Wizards of the Coast, and it's a very simple, light, fun card game. You have a deck which is dedicated to a certain character archetype. I think in the base game you've got the Berserker, the Rogue, the Paladin, and the Wizard. Okay, so you get your deck. You have 2 cards. One is like a card which tells you what each of the symbols on the card does, plus a couple of unique powers for that specific character. And then the second card serves as a life counter. So you start with 10 health, and the object is to reduce your other player's health to 0, and you're the last standing person wins the game. Okay, so it plays from 1 to 4 players, because you get 4 characters in the box. So you got your deck, you shuffle it, deal yourself 3 cards, and then on your turn, you draw a card from your draw deck, and then you play a card. Dead simple. On these cards, there are a number of symbols. There's cross swords, which allows you to attack another player and damage them. There are cards you play that have got shields on them, which you can put out and leave in play, and they serve as a defense barrier against attacks from other players. There are cards that will allow you to draw additional cards. Okay, because more cards equals more choice. And then there's cards with lightning bolts on them. A lightning bolt will allow you to play an additional action in that turn. And then so you've got these core set of mechanics, but when they combo together, and there can be multiple icons on each of the cards. So I might have a card that I play, which will not only do you damage, but it'll allow me to take another turn. And taking another turn means playing another card. So I might play a card that says, right, well, you can draw a card, but you can also take another turn. So that act of just playing one, drawing a card and playing a card, that's the core rule. So these additional things will allow you to do extra stuff. And it all plays back into the character or the archetype that you're playing. So a Berserker will be all about dealing big damage in a big way. The Wizard will be more about controlling the flow of the game a little more, might be able to draw cards and play cards within a turn. And then the Rogue's all about just stabby, stealing stealing cards. I'm playing as a rogue, and I played a card which allowed me just to steal your top deck and just play it. So it's really good fun. Each round can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you're done, and you can just draw. You know, we'd got the choice of 4. I think we played 2 rounds each with different characters. It's for me, it's the kind of game that it's very fillerish. It's the kind of game you could take to the pub. Yeah. You could bust out in a pub and play it, no problem at all. And I know that I know Disco Beaver has had this game for a long time, and he's busted out in pubs with great success. There are expansions available, of course there are, and yes, I've got them. You know, there's a Baldur's Gate themed expansion which adds another 2 characters, and then there's a Monsters expansion. So you've got you can play as the Gelatinous Cube or the Beholder. You know, all the classic D&D archetypes of monsters. But it's a really good, fun little game.
What I liked about it was we played twice. The first game I took the wizard archetype, and I did all right. I won that on my first game, and then the second one I think I may have been the paladin, and
you were the berserker.
Was it the berserker? The berserker had different icons than the wizard had.
So the special powers, yeah.
Yeah, so one of them involved being able to do something such as either give myself a bit of shield protection or cause you some damage and pick up another 2 cards.
Yeah.
Whereas the wizard didn't even have any concept of that whatsoever. And it got to a point where I had like 3 or 4 cards, and all of them were just about doing damage. But I thought, I could only play 1 card at a time. I wasn't lucky enough to get any of them with the little bolt icon to say you can play another one, because if you got that 10 health, it can drop pretty damn quickly.
Yes, it can.
And again, some of those icons on the card might be, I will be playing another card and also regaining a piece of health. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It'd be interesting to see how it would play with more than just the 2 people, where you then have a choice of who it is that you wish to attack.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm trying to think what the rationale behind. Would you just go for the person with the most health, or the person who you could take down right now, or maybe somebody who, I don't know.
I think that's where the strategy comes into play. Do you focus on taking somebody out who you know is a threat to you? So you might want to take down somebody who's dealing a lot of damage, or you might want to say, well, this person's only on 2 health, and I've got if I just get them out of the game altogether, I could focus on the remaining players. But there are cards out there that you play it and it deals damage to everybody. So, you know, it will scale accordingly. But it's a lot of fun. I love the fact that it's very easy to explain. It literally took me a minute to explain to you how it was played, and we were away, we were playing. I like the fact that it draws on the classic Dungeons and Dragons kind of, like with your spells, there'd be lightning bolts and
magic missile,
etc., etc. So in many ways, this would serve as a gateway for kids to get them interested in the Dungeons and Dragons genre. I guess you don't need to be deeply entrenched in Dungeons and Dragons. You could just play the game as is. And interestingly, I think so. So here's a bit of Magic the Gathering lore, okay, here. So Magic the Gathering was originally designed to be a kind of filler game for people playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
So if they were waiting for other people to turn up, they'd say, all right, we'll have a quick game of Magic the Gathering. Where I think this could actually serve as a filler game for Magic the Gathering. So if you're sitting in a store, obviously we're not doing that nowadays, but if you're sitting in a store and you're waiting for your next next opponent to finish playing, you can say, right, okay, let's play Dungeon Mayhem. It takes 5 minutes to play. It's dead simple, but it's fun.
How much was that?
So you can pick this up from Amazon at the moment for about £11.
And were they pre-sleeved, or did you do that?
No, didn't come pre-sleeved, mate. Sleeve that myself. You don't need sleeves. That's what people keep saying. You don't just need sleeves. But I would say any game, and I always do this, any game that requires some amount of shuffling and you're drawing from a random deck, sleeve them. Okay? Because if you don't, at some point, they're going to get marked and you're going to go, oh, right, I know what that card is. I know exactly what that card is. So, and if you're busting out in a pub, mate, you know.
100% sleeved.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, you know how sticky those tables are.
Do you enjoy the process of sleeving?
Oh, I love it.
And is it so when you let's say that turns up? Do you what's your process? Do you leave it somewhere until you're ready, or do you get excited and open up to look at it and at the very least sleeve it, or will you only sleeve it when you're ready to actually have a play with it?
No, I'll sleeve it straight away because I love it that much. It's a ritual for me, and I find it very calming and therapeutic.
I suppose it's also your time to really sort of take in the artwork and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'll have a brief look through the instructions and I'll inventory everything just to make sure that everything is present because, like all physical product, there is a risk that something might be missing or damaged. So it's a great opportunity just to inventory your game that you've just got.
In that case that you got there, is that just a third party case that nicely fits sleeve cards?
Just a deck box. Just a deck box, and it just affords like portability. Massively. It's a man bag sized, my friend. Bust that out. Easy done. So there you have it. Dungeon Mayhem. Available from all good retailers, and entertain your kids and your loved ones and friends. So there you go. That's my analog stuff done. So we're in the realms of what is there left to talk about?
The back end of the show.
The back end, the messy back end.
Yeah. Well, I know we mentioned something earlier, and if we, by all accounts, we'll be banging another show forthwith. Certainly before the closing end of September, where traditionally we would be getting super giddy for all things Eurogamer or EGX, and of course MLGX off the back of that.
So it bears discussion, I guess.
To some level, yeah. I mean, obviously there's no event going on, and I think we've demonstrated over the past couple of years that MLGX is somewhat agnostic to the requirements of the show itself. As things stand this year, it sounds like I still have my booking for the hotel in Birmingham we stayed at last time.
Yeah.
I think there are discussions going on about how we can maybe create some kind of fun for the community in a different way, in a virtual space, in a COVID-19 sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could probably safely say, without being too far wrong, that there will be an MLGX in September. There will be it will be digital. It will be inclusive. It will allow as many people to partake as possible. We just need to work out what that looks like. Yeah. So watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. This could potentially be the most inclusive MLGX that we've ever embarked upon. But that said, there's going to be scope for some physical meetups, barring any kind of significant lifestyle changes or government requirements. But I do know that people are still looking to congregate in Birmingham at the back end of September, and I would say it will be the weekend of the Friday the 25th. Some people sometimes turn up on the Thursday, but there's no party planned.
Nope.
We just can't we can't plan for anything that looks like we're gathering a whole load of people in a room, and when alcohol flows and people just you've seen it. You've seen clips of people just not observing any kind of social distancing whatsoever. So we're just going to say we will be around. We've got hotels booked for Birmingham for that weekend from Friday the 25th. If you want to get involved and come and join us, I'm sure there'll be activities that we can do with while observing the hands, face, space. Get a test. I know it rolls off the tongue so easy. Hand, space, face. Get a test
and self-isolate.
Self-isolate. Yeah. That's a real winner, Boris. Thank you, mate. So yeah, so there'll be a physical opportunity, although it won't be as physical as it has been in recent years.
True that.
But also, watch this space for announcements on virtual shenanigans for this year's MLGX.
Absolutely, okay. I look forward to that.
Me too.
Oh,
I suppose we get the community managers together. But get a call.
Yeah,
get a call in, Matthew.
Absolutely, 100%. Get the boys on it.
Yeah.
Right, shall we hit some domestics?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, they're a little bit easier these days. You can still go to midlifegamer.net.
See what happens.
See what happens. There's the Facebook group, which is always inclusive and a lot of fun. Not much to say about that. There's been a lot of people, both there and on Twitter, I've seen, sharing some of their... a lot of people getting down and dirty with DIY repairs and improvements to their gaming tech.
Okay.
So I've seen a lot of people making some custom things to their Switch controllers, giving them a bit of confidence to think, well, maybe I'll go and sort that jet engine of a PS4 Pro out.
Maybe, yeah.
So there's always good people there to go and heed advice from. And not a week goes by that someone goes, I'm thinking about my nephew this or my grandmother this needs a PC. This is
my grandma. I'm building a gaming rig for my grandma.
Yeah. And people love getting involved with that.
Yes, they do.
We've got some... And people... I saw someone... In fact, somebody I've known for a while now. It was like... I had built a PC in 20 years, and I was in that position up until the year before last. Fucking give it a go. It's dead easy. It's dead easy. You could use Blue Tack and it mostly work. So yeah, we mentioned Twitter. The main feed is at midlifegamernet. Down is on there at uncle_Fister, and I'm there at Mantis Matt. I did mention last time.
Are you still twitching?
I was about to mention Twitch, so I'm on there as Mantis Matt. I've not done any for a while, but I have actually enjoyed using it from an audience point of view. With people I know from other podcasts or friends of ours. If I see someone go live and I'm just sat around doing nothing, I'll just jump into their stream, say hello, shoot the breeze for a little bit, watch what they're up to.
Yeah,
it gives me exposure to games I may not have thought about, and as I know as well, if you're twitching, it's often nice, and I think probably makes a lot of sense to have an audience to talk with. And it's crazy seeing some of the things that you could do with that, where you can have custom emotes, where if you hit a certain tier, you can take that custom emote and use it in other people's streams. It's very peculiar. But I do keep thinking about having another go at Twitch, but I always seem to think that I should, and maybe I'm getting this wrong, should you try and find some real estate on your screen to have your web camera on, or is it better if it doesn't fit that game? If you can't find an elegant place to put it, is it fine just to be gameplay and voice?
Oh, it's entirely down to you, mate. Honestly, it's gonna vary from game to game depending on how the UI is laid out. People normally find the best thing to do is, if you're uncertain on whether you can fit your face onto a screen, watch somebody else streaming the game, because they go, oh right, they're top left.
Yeah.
They're top left, that works. That's what I'm going to do. But if you don't want to present your face, you don't have to. It's not a requirement.
No.
But it will certainly enhance the experience and get you better connected with your viewers if they can see you.
Of course. Some of the rabbit holes I've been going down on YouTube are like this month's top 10 Twitch fails or cringy moments on Twitch.
Yeah.
So many of them.
Of course there is.
And I think that they recently did a bit of a change to some of their rules and regulations when it comes to the type of clothes you wear.
So, I mean, you're not getting your tits out anymore, Matt?
Not anymore.
Damn.
I know.
Well, you've lost a subscriber now. I ain't turning up. It's tits will get the fuck out, mate.
No moves on show at Mantis Matt. But yeah, there you go.
But on that, I know I've not been active on Twitch for some time, and I'll be honest with you, at this point, no opportunities to return. But that said, I do have my Quest. I understand science allows me to broadcast direct to Facebook. So, obviously,
of course, it's owned by Oculus. Facebook owned. Yeah.
So who knows? I've just dropped on a game actually, which I'm really excited about. It's called In Death Unchained, and this is a roguelite maybe, where you're wandering around in a first person perspective, and all you've got is a bow and arrow, and you're wandering around and you're shooting shit, and it's all procedurally generated, and it looks a bit like Dark Souls.
On your Quest?
Yeah. So I'm going to have a go on that, and then if I'm enjoying it, I might do a bit of streaming.
No, that'd be cool. It also means that you haven't got to worry about I mean, because you don't need to see you what we're seeing is
what you're seeing is what I'm seeing.
And I think that's probably that's one of the big unique selling points, of course, of VR.
Yeah. So who knows? Let's see if I can make that tech happen.
Hey, I'll be there.
Yeah, you will.
I'll be there.
Okay, my friend. So there's another show in the can. It's been beautiful to see you again. I really, really enjoyed the last show, and I've really enjoyed this show. This has to be the way forward for you and I. We're going back to our roots.
The new norm.
The new normal, or the new Norman. Yeah. So there you go. I look forward to being in your loving arms again in about 4 weeks' time. Obviously, the listeners will be happy to know that we're getting back to some kind of regularity. I certainly look forward to it, and I know you do. So I hope you've enjoyed yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've enjoyed listening in on our world and our lives and what we've been up to. Leaves nothing more for me to say other than be good to each other, especially during these exceptional times. Hand, face, space, get a test, self-isolate, and go balls deep wherever you can, but do it responsibly and safely. And, join us next time when we bring you another excited episode of the Midlife Gamer Podcast. Say goodbye, Matthew.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you know it. So did you? I know. Jace has been doing this for years. Jay Stokes, but he was on the radio this week talking about his jam disc golf.
BBC commentary in Warwickshire.
BBC commentary. I was tuned in.
Oh, so was I.
I was tuned in via the power of Alexa, and it was really good. He's doing some fabulous work at the moment with disc golf and getting all that inclusivity going on. I didn't realise up until I started. I've obviously been talking to him, I guess offline through the power of social media, and getting interested, getting involved. I said, how do you start this? Come on, where's the starting point? So he said, just get yourself a starter set. So this is effectively just 3 discs.
So is the assumption that the hole or the set of chains that you aim for, you don't build that yourself, you go and seek one out?
You could seek one out, but you don't need that. And this is where it was a light bulb moment for me, is that you don't need to go and find a course. All you need is a open space. It doesn't even have to be an open space. It just needs to be a space where you can play. And you can pick a tree and aim for it. So the good lady and I got a starter set. Okay, so I've got 3 discs, which is effectively my putter, my mid range, and my driver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they all behave a little differently. So with a putter, you've got a little more control, but it doesn't go as far. Whereas with your driver, it's quite it's built for distance. Hence the driver. I remember my first sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes of throwing was really weird. It was really weird because when you grew up, if you ever played with frisbees, it was all very much you're just going to toss it lightly and blah, blah. With these, mate, you got to give it some welly if you want it to go any amount of distance.
You must do a lot of walking.
Sorry?
You must do a lot of walking.
Yeah, well, this was one of the things that kind of drove me to. I thought, well. And I had the conversation with the good lady the other day. I said, I find walking really dull, and I said it's not anything to do with the company that I'm keeping. Let's be clear, okay? This is about me, and I've always been this kind of person that if you gamify something, it engages me so much more. And we saw that with geocaching. Geocaching is fantastic. And that is basically walking and you're finding stuff.
Is that still active?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's mega active. Not too sure how it works in a COVID space, but you can still walk and find things and go, yeah, I found it. It's great, and I've got my steps up, do me 10,000 a day or whatever I need to do to be classed as a healthy living person. But yeah, so me getting active, me working muscles that I don't normally work. And I've been out and had a go, and I'm enjoying it so far. I really am. So I'm looking to hook up with Jace actually the next week or so for a bit of one-to-one tutorial.
Has he moved from Bristol?
From Bristol, he's no longer in Bristol. He's up in the Midlands, up in the Midlands. Location to be revealed. Don't want to be giving up too much information about the location of Mr. Stokes, because otherwise everyone will be wanting a piece of him.
Is he close enough to the dogging haven that is Cannock Chase?
He could be. He's in that ballpark area. Yeah.
You don't want to be sending your driver 200 yards around the corner to that car park.
No, I do not, mate. So yeah, hopefully looking for some focused one-to-one tuition from a guy who's been playing for many years, and just enjoying an activity, getting myself out, which is something I often struggle to do. So.
Sounds like fun.
Are you how are you doing with your cooking currently? Are you having fun? Are you trying new things?
I'm doing a fair bit on the barbecue.
Yeah,
doing lots and lots of barbecue-y food. Other than that, it's the same go-tos. We have an influx of eggs.
Okay.
We have
for what reason?
Well, because I was eating them. And then when we couldn't go to shops, we, like many people, found that there were services that can deliver you things such as eggs. And then I stopped eating them, and now they keep turning up.
If you want me to take some eggs back with me, mate, I'm up for eating eggs. I love it. I'm becoming a bit of an egg fried rice kind of guy. So cook some rice in advance, let it dry, etc. And get some eggs in there. Bit of sesame oil, some chopped onions.
Well, we've started to harvest from the garden now.
Okay,
so
good.
we had some potatoes, had some peas and some beans, courgettes for days, which could be either a replacement for a sex toy or a billy club. You choose the method of your demise.
Just the ones you're giving to me to take back with you. Just let me know if they've been used for anything else.
So, I mean, what you got on your phone now? Have you been cooking up a storm?
No, I'll tell you what. I've obviously been talking on previous shows about dabbling with my cooking. I've fallen upon this incredible recipe, and I feel like I need to share it. This is a recipe that I enjoy so much, and the good lady enjoys it so much. It's become part of our rotation. And we were sat eating it last night, and I just said, this just keeps getting better and better. And I said, if I ever end up on Come Dine With Me, this will be the main that I will bust out, and I will win that money at the end of the week. Okay, so I'm gonna share it with the community. I want you to go out and make this thing and thank me later, because it's fucking amazing.
Oh,
okay, so this is a one-pot Chinese 5-spice pork belly recipe. Okay, now pork belly, historically I could take or leave, but when you cook it right, oh, it's fucking amazing. It really is good. So this is basically, you've got a couple of packs, about 900 grams of pork belly, and you're going to coat it in flour. Then you're going to go off to the side, make a marinade, which has got all kind of good stuff in there: sweet chili sauce, apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, Chinese 5-spice, bit of coriander, bit of soy sauce, bit of sesame oil, some garlic powder, some chili flakes, and then so up until yesterday, because these are optional, but you can add star anise and cinnamon sticks. All right, so I've left those out previously, but last night when I cooked it, oh mate, it does make all the difference. So basically, you're just going to coat it in the marinade, then throw in some stock. Do you know what a Dutch oven is?
Yeah. We had this conversation.
Yeah, okay. So you know me, I'm all about the fucking Dutch oven. So this make great use of a Dutch oven. So get it all marinated, get it in the oven on gas mark 4, 170 fan, put it in there for an hour and a half to 2 hours with the lid on. Then you take it out, take the lid off, It's fucking amazing. It's amazing. But then you whack the oven up to like 200 degrees and you throw it back in without the lid on for another half an hour, and that reduces the sauce down to this nice sticky consistency. The recipe I've got says that you should throw in a pint of or a couple of cups of boiling water. Don't do that, because it'll just make it pissy. You want it a nice sticky consistency, so don't add any more water at this point. Just let it boil down, and then just make your rice, get your bok choy, and steam that. Get your whatever the veg you want, your mange too, your
those baby corns.
Yeah, and little baby trees, the tender stem broccoli. Oh, mate, it's fucking amazing. So
you got a steamer?
Have I got a steamer? No, but I'm aware of a steamer and how it works. Mrs. just cooks veg in the pan for a couple of minutes, and it comes out great. But honestly, I love this. I love this so much. I want to share it with. I want everybody to try this because it's really fucking beautiful.
It's the are they tender? Because they're a bit fatty, aren't they? Those.
Yeah, well, all the fat renders out and just adds to the flavour. And these things, and because they're in the Dutch oven, and there's bits of pork that are actually sitting above the water level, and they just go so. Oh, it's just amazing, mate.
Do you keep the pork belly in its entirety, or do you dice it?
No, you dice it. You dice it up, mate. You dice it up. I'll share the recipe on the when I publish this on the Facebooks and the Twitters. I'll make sure that I follow up with link to said recipe. But like I said, don't add the water when it says. Just do. Trust me. Trust your uncle.
So these cinnamon sticks, do you break them up when they go in the marinade, or do they go
No, I just throw them in whole. Same as a star anise. But you take them out before you serve up, otherwise you'll break someone's tooth.
Okie dokie.
Okay. There you go, man. Honestly. Thank me later.
All right.
I'm done. Going home.